5 Exercises for Fluent English. Part 1, The First Step to Fluency. My name is Daniel. I come from a small town in Brazil. 1 year ago, I could only say a few words in English. Hello, how are you? And, my name is Daniel. That was everything. But I had a dream. I wanted to speak English well. I wanted to watch movies without subtitles. I wanted to travel and speak with people from different countries. And I hoped to get a job in an international company. At first, English was not easy for me. I could read simple words, but I didn't understand full sentences. I listened to English speakers, but I could not answer them. I was shy, and I didn't feel confident. Then I met a teacher who said something that changed my thinking. She said, "Don't study English. Use English." That was new to me. I always thought I had to read grammar books and write exercises. But now I started to understand something different. English is a tool. And to use a tool, you must pick it up and try. I want to tell you about the 5 exercises that help me speak English better. In this part, I will talk about the first and most important one, speaking every day. Speak every day. This is the most powerful step. If you want to speak English fluently, you must speak it often. Many students spend time learning grammar or memorizing word lists, but they don't use English in real life. That is a big mistake. You cannot learn to swim by reading about swimming. You must get in the water. The same is true with English. But how can you speak if you live in a country where no one speaks English? That was my situation too. My parents didn't speak English. My friends didn't speak English. I had no one to talk to. My teacher gave me a suggestion. She said, "Speak to yourself." I thought it sounded strange, but I decided to try it. Every morning, I began to talk out loud about what I was doing. I said simple things. I am making coffee. I am getting dressed. I am walking to the bus stop. These sentences were easy, but they helped me think in English. I did not have to translate from Portuguese in my head. I began to connect words with real actions. Later, I added more ideas. Today is a busy day. I have a lot of work. I feel tired, but I want to study. The weather is warm. It's a good day for a walk. These thoughts helped me practice speaking, even when I was alone. I did this every day for 10 minutes. And I saw progress. After a few weeks, I was able to say more things. I felt more comfortable using English. Another exercise I started was listening and repeating. This is called shadowing. I found a video where someone read a story in English. I listened and repeated the words just a second after the speaker. I tried to copy the way they said the words. I copied their voice, their rhythm, and their speed. At first, it was hard. But after 1 week, it felt easier. I understood more, and my pronunciation got better. I started using short news videos, easy audiobooks, and even scenes from movies. I listened, paused, and repeated the sentences. My voice became more confident. I sounded more natural. One important thing I learned was not to worry about mistakes. At the beginning, I made many. I said the wrong tense. I forgot words. But I kept going. I remembered what my teacher told me, the goal is not to speak perfectly. The goal is to speak. If people understand you, then you are speaking well enough. Perfection will come with time. I want to share some tips that help me stay on track. Choose a time every day to speak. I chose 8 o'clock in the morning, just before I went to work. Use a mirror. Look at your mouth. See how you form words. Record yourself. Listen back. Notice your strong points and your weak points. Don't stop. Even 1 minute of speaking is better than nothing. At the end of my first week, I felt more confident. I didn't speak like a native speaker, but I could speak. I knew I was on the right path. If you want to try this exercise, here is your task. For the next 7 days, speak English out loud for 10 minutes every day. It can be anything. Talk about your morning. Talk about your plans. Talk about your memories. If you don't know a word, try to explain it in a different way. The goal is to speak without stopping. The goal is to train your brain to think in English. You can do it in your room, in the car, or while walking. Keep a small notebook. Write one short sentence about how the practice felt. You will see improvement very quickly. In the next part, I will talk about the second important exercise, how reading can help you remember and use new words without studying them. This will make your vocabulary grow faster and more naturally. Part 2, Read and Repeat. In the first part of my journey to fluent English, I learned the importance of speaking every day. I began to talk to myself in English. I used simple words, short sentences, and repeated phrases until they became natural. That was the beginning. But to speak better, I also needed to understand more words. I needed to hear how English sounded in real life. I wanted to know how people talked in everyday situations, and I wanted to sound more natural when I spoke. That's when I learned 2 more powerful exercises. 2. Read every day. My teacher told me something I will never forget: people who read every day learn words 2 times faster than people who don't. I didn't like reading in English at first. It felt slow. I didn't know many words, and I had to stop often to use a dictionary. But she said, choose stories you enjoy. Reading should feel fun. So I went to the library and found a short book for beginners. It was a story about a boy who moves to London. The sentences were simple. The words were easy. I read 1 page a day. Then 2 pages. Then 5. After 1 week, I noticed something interesting. Some words came again and again. At first, I needed a dictionary. But soon, I remembered them. I didn't write them down. I didn't study them. I just saw them many times, and I learned them naturally. Here is what I learned about reading. Choose something interesting. A story, a comic, or even a short article. Read for 15 to 30 minutes a day. Use a simple dictionary only when a word is important for understanding the story. Don't stop too often. Try to enjoy the story, not just the words. Reading helped me learn how words work together in a sentence. I saw how native speakers used words like just, already, or yet. I saw where they used do and does. I didn't need to study grammar rules. I saw the grammar in action. One book I loved was a short adventure story. The hero was lost in a big city. He met many people and had to use English to survive. It felt like my own story. I realized something else. Reading made me want to speak more. After reading, I would talk about the story to myself or tell a friend in class. Reading gave me words. Speaking gave them life. 3. shadowing for better pronunciation. One day, a student in our class said he could understand English, but his pronunciation was poor. He said, "I don't speak because I don't want people to hear my bad English." I understood his feeling. I had the same fear. Our teacher gave us a solution. She said, "Practice shadowing." Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it at the same time, like an echo. You copy the speaker's words, sound, and rhythm. You become a mirror. At first, I didn't know how to do it. She showed us a video. A man was reading a short paragraph slowly. We listened. Then we spoke after him. It was not easy. The first time, I said the words too late. I couldn't follow the speed. But after a few days, I improved. I learned how to move my mouth to sound more English. I copied the music of the language, the ups and downs, the pauses, the stress. And something strange happened. I started to enjoy it. I used shadowing with news clips, stories, short videos, and even songs. I listened, repeated, and tried to match the speaker's tone and speed. Here is how I did it. 1. That I chose a short video or audio, about 1 or 2 minutes long. 2. That I listened once without speaking, just to understand the message. 3. That then I listened again and spoke with the speaker, copying every word. 4. That I repeated this 2 or 3 times a day. After 2 weeks, my pronunciation was much better. I sounded more natural. And more importantly, I felt more confident. Shadowing also helped my listening. I could catch words faster. I understood more in movies and conversations. This method worked because I was not only learning with my eyes. I was learning with my ears, my mouth, and my body. These 2 exercises, reading every day and shadowing spoken English, gave me more words, better pronunciation, and greater confidence. I did not study rules. I did not memorize lists. I just practiced. In the next part, I will talk about exercise 4, Think in English. This simple habit helped me speak without translating in my head, and it made everything faster and easier. Part 3, Train Your Thinking. By the time I finished my 2nd month of English practice, something important had changed. I was speaking every day. I was reading short stories and enjoying them. I was using shadowing to improve my pronunciation. I could understand more, and I could say more. But something was still slow. Sometimes, when I wanted to speak, I had to stop and think. I thought in Portuguese first, then I tried to find the English words. This made me slow. It also made me nervous. I told my teacher about this. She said, "It's time to learn to think in English." This brings us to the next important step. 4. Think in English. At first, this idea sounded strange. How can I think in English if I don't know enough words? But my teacher explained, you don't need perfect English to think in English. You just need simple English. And you already know enough for that. She told us a story about a student named Elizabeth. Elizabeth came from Italy and learned English very fast. Her secret? She used a method called thinking aloud. Thinking aloud means saying your thoughts in English as you think them. For example, when you are walking home, you say things like, "I am walking on the street. It is a sunny day. I feel a little tired, but I'm happy." This method may feel strange at first. You might feel silly talking to yourself. But it's very effective. The goal is to train your brain to use English all the time. I decided to try it. The first day, I walked around my room and said simple things. I have a pen. The pen is blue. I will write in my notebook. The next day, I added more. I need to buy food. Tomorrow, I will go to the store. I want to cook something nice. After 1 week, my mind started to do something new. I was not translating anymore. I was thinking directly in English. At work, when I was doing a simple task, I started to hear English in my head. Now I am opening the window. This paper is too long. Let me check my email. I didn't speak out loud all the time. Sometimes I just thought in English silently. That was fine too. It helped me speak faster. When I opened my mouth, the words were ready. Thinking in English helped me in conversations. Before, I had to plan what I wanted to say. Now, I could speak more naturally. My ideas were already in English. Here are a few ways I use this technique. Morning routine, I spoke out loud while brushing my teeth, making coffee, or getting dressed. Walking or commuting, I talked to myself while walking or riding the bus. Silent thinking, in quiet places, I practice thinking in English without saying the words out loud. Daily reflection, at night, I told myself what I did that day in English. It's okay to start with short, simple sentences. That's what I did. Over time, my thoughts became longer and more complex. I began to say, today, I worked very hard, but I didn't finish everything. Maybe tomorrow I will be more productive. I want to write my plan before I go to sleep. This was real English. It came from my mind, not from a book. Some people asked, what if I make mistakes when I think? My answer was, it doesn't matter. Nobody hears your mistakes. This is your practice. You are training your brain to think fast in English. Mistakes are part of learning. Thinking in English changed everything for me. It helped me become faster, more natural, and more confident. I was no longer afraid of speaking. I was using English not just as a language to study, but as a language to live. When I started to think in English, I finally felt that I was becoming fluent. Part 4, Use English in Real Life. By this time, my English was much better. I could speak every day without fear. I read stories and news articles for fun. I listened to native speakers and copied their sounds. I even started to think in English without translating. But I still had one big question: could I speak with other people? Using English with myself was one thing. Using English with other people, real people, was different. My heart beat faster. I was nervous. What if I didn't understand them? What if they laughed at my mistakes? My teacher said, "You're ready now. It's time to talk with others." This is the last and most important step. 5. Practice with real people. If you want to speak fluently, you must use English in real conversations. You must speak with real people, not just teachers, not just books, not just videos. That scared me a little. But I remembered something. When I was learning to ride a bicycle, I was scared at first too. Then I tried, I fell, I tried again, and I learned. The same is true for English. At first, I didn't know where to find people to talk to. I didn't live in an English-speaking country. My friends didn't speak English. So I searched online. I found a language exchange app. It let me speak with people who were learning my language and who spoke English. I also found a website for learners who wanted to practice conversation. The first time, I was so nervous. I spoke to a man from Canada. His accent was clear. He was kind. I made many mistakes, but he understood me. We spoke for 15 minutes. When I finished, I smiled. I had done it. The next day, I tried again. This time, I spoke to a woman from Ireland. Then someone from India. Then a student from Nigeria. Each person had a different accent, a different style. And with every conversation, I learned something new. These talks were not just about English. We spoke about food, music, jobs, family, dreams. I learned about their lives, and they learned about mine. One day, a man asked me, "How long have you been learning English?" I said, "About 5 months." He was surprised. "You sound great. You speak very clearly." That moment gave me confidence. It showed me that all my practice was working. I also started going to an English club in my town. We met once a week. We talked, played games, and shared stories. Sometimes we watched a short movie and talked about it. Sometimes we read a story out loud and discussed it. I made friends there. Real friends. We helped each other, corrected each other, and laughed together. Speaking with others taught me new things. I learned real expressions and slang. I learned to listen better. I learned to speak more clearly, more slowly, more naturally. It was not about being perfect. It was about being understood. Here is how you can use this method. Find a language partner online or in your town. Join an English group, club, or class. Use English when you travel or meet tourists. If you are shy, start with writing messages or short voice notes. Every time you speak with someone, you are learning. Every conversation is practice. Don't wait until you are ready. You will never feel fully ready. Just begin. I also made it a rule, every week, I must speak English with at least one new person. Sometimes it was online. Sometimes in person. It became a habit. It became part of my life. That is when I truly became fluent. Conclusion, 1 year later. It has been 1 year since I started my English journey. I didn't take big classes or use expensive books. I used simple exercises every day. Speak every day, even alone. Read every day, and enjoy it. Shadow native speakers to learn the rhythm. Think in English, and make it your normal language. Practice with real people, and learn by doing. Now, I speak English at work. I write emails and join meetings. I travel and talk to people easily. I watch movies without subtitles. I read books for fun. I even help other learners who are just starting. I am not perfect. I still learn new words every day. But I am fluent. And you can be fluent too. English is not something you learn once. It is something you use every day. It becomes a part of your life. So start small. Speak today. Read something tomorrow. Think in English this week. Find someone to talk to next week. In 1 year, your story will be different too. Just like mine. Thank you for listening to this lesson. If you liked it, write about it in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new lessons.